What's good, guys? This is Juice at THCLabs.net, BeatSellingSquad.com. What's up, man? I hope you guys are doing good. I want to talk to you guys about giving out to your community a little more. You know, I see a lot of people, like I said in other videos, they're just spamming their links. They're just trying to get, they're hungry for attention, basically. If you guys are doing this, you're going about it all wrong, guys. You guys are gonna get nowhere if you keep doing this. You might feel successful because you posted your link in 500 different Facebook groups, but at the end of the day, they're not gonna be looking out for links. They're gonna be looking out for information, or they're gonna be looking out for something to develop themselves or better their world in some way. So on that note, that's why I made this video. I want to inspire you guys to start making videos and start making audios or writing articles or just giving out to the community in any way you can. And it doesn't have to be in those methods I just said. It could be any little thing. I mean, for example, if someone hits you up on SoundCloud and they ask you, hey man, can you repost one of my songs? I need some traffic. And I know most of us will be like, oh man, these guys bug me all the time. What's their deal? Well, let's start changing the way we think about stuff like this, and let's start focusing on positivity. Next time someone asks you for a repost, next time someone asks you to retweet something, or they just ask you for something, take a breath and be grateful that people are asking you for something. Because see, when people ask you for something, you don't realize it, but it's like they trust you in some way or another. I'm not gonna go out on the street and then just wave down a car and then ask them, what I should do with my money or where I should go live, because I don't know that person. You can tell me something that's gonna hurt me. You could tell me something that's gonna end up getting the money into his pocket instead. You just never know. Or he can give me good information. It's just you don't gamble with that kind of stuff, and that's why when people ask someone else questions, they feel like they can give them the answer, and that's why they ask. So be grateful when people ask you for something, or when people even take the time to write you a message, because you are being basically idolized. People are coming to you to solve a problem, so why don't you? If all it takes is to solve someone's problem is to click a button and they'll be grateful, I mean, why don't you do that? I think yesterday, the day before, I was just doing stuff I do every day. I look through SoundCloud, I click play. If I like the song, I hit like, and automatically that retweets it, that posts it on my Facebook, that it sends it out. And I did that with like 2 songs yesterday, or 2 or 3 songs, and it was this female artist, and she tweeted, she said, oh my God, thank you for your support, this just made my day, you don't realize it. And when I read that, I'm feeling it right now. When I read that, I got goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps right now because, see, it's just building up right now. The energy, it's something that you can't explain, and it's something that you can't buy with money, because what you just did for someone else may have seemed like just a little small, insignificant thing to you, really ended up making someone else's day better. So if you have the power to make someone else's day better by just clicking or writing something, why don't you? See, stop this mindset of always asking for stuff and always, begging for attention, and start giving attention, start giving advice, start giving, something beneficial. It could be free beats, it could be advice, it could be a video on how you lay out your beats, it could be on anything. And start writing those questions down that you get from people. Start writing those questions down, because sooner or later, when not just one person, but when 100 people in a day come to you asking a question, a lot of them are going to be the same questions. And so that's why you already have your answers written out, your question, so you already instantly know the answer. All you got to do is copy and paste it, or if you outsource your customer service to someone else that's doing it, all that person that you hired has to do is just look at the questions you wrote down for them. So it's things like these that you have to start focusing on, and that really make your business take off. It's not the traffic, it's not the sales, and that may seem like what is going to get you money, but you don't get that without doing this first. You're not going to get people buying your stuff, you're not going to get traffic, and you're not going to get any trust without you guys giving that back, without you putting out into the community. You can do all kinds of, you don't even believe what you can do for someone that's going to benefit someone. It might be something you're already doing every day. If you're already posting on Facebook 5, 10, 20 times a day, you don't realize it, but if you post someone else's stuff on your Facebook, that's like changing the world for someone else. And all you have to do is just do something you've already been doing. See, and people don't take the time out to do that. People want to do stuff for themselves, and they don't want to do that easy same shit for someone else, you know. And I'm sorry I dropped language, but it just came out like that. I didn't mean it, but it's true. It gets me kind of worked up because people are always asking for stuff and asking for beats and asking for all this, and they wonder why they're not getting anywhere. They wonder why people don't respond to them, and I see this all the time, man. I mean, I don't dislike people like that. I don't hate anybody, but it's just I feel for them really. I kind of feel for them because they don't realize that they're doing that to themselves. They're putting themselves in that situation, and it's the same thing when you see people posting on Facebook and Twitter. Oh my God, why are people hating on me? Or why did I break up with my boyfriend? Or why just why does this guy not like me no more? Or why did my girl go somewhere else where I told her not to go? When people start making these little emotions blow up and become big, then that's what they are. They take over your life, and people wonder how they end up depressed and living, bad lives is because they did that to themselves. They gave energy to those emotions. If someone did something to upset you today, earlier in the morning when you woke up, and you keep thinking about that throughout the day, at the end of the day, you're not gonna be able to sleep. You're not gonna be able to focus or do nothing, because that's all you're gonna be running through your head is that guy that dissed you in the morning, or that girl that told you off, or that rejected you, or whatever it is. You're gonna be holding that thought constantly throughout the day, and you might not even realize it. You might be thinking about it, and then you get into a movie, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm good, I'm better. But you don't realize that you still have that energy behind. You don't have to have a thought in your head to have the energy behind it. If you're thinking negative, about how the world is coming to an end, and how everyone's broke and there's no money to go around, then you just created that for yourself. You're gonna be broke. You're not gonna have any money, for yourself, and you're gonna be wondering, man, how come the world is like this? And you're gonna keep thinking about that. You're gonna keep thinking about how messed up the world is, and you're just setting yourself up into a trap. And that's one thing that keeps people from really being the person they become, is they get too comfortable with their jobs, or they think that if they quit their job, they're not going to find another job, and they're going to be stuck without a job forever. And that's what holds them back. You have to have a certain amount of confidence in yourself to step out of what's known as a comfort zone. A comfort zone, what that means is, say you're working a 9 to 5 right now, and you don't really like it. You wish you could do better for yourself, but you think to yourself, if I already got a job, I mean, I'll just ride it along, I already have a job, why do I want to go through the process of getting another job, And that's a lot of that's the mentality that holds us back. That's what keeps us where we're at. It's being stuck in a place where we're living, but dead at the same time. It's hard to explain. We're just suspended in the same state throughout our whole lives, unless we decide to take some chance and some risks. Quit your job today, and I know that could overcome some of us who be worried about, man, how am I going to pay the bills, especially if you have kids and everything. But that's what traps us, is that worry that stacks and stacks and stacks the more we think about it. I can't imagine for a single parent out there who has a kid who's working 2 jobs and has more bills than he can afford, and all of a sudden he loses his job. I can't imagine what he's going through, but I kind of have an idea of what he's thinking. He's thinking, holy shit, holy crap, my world is ending. I'm done. I'm nothing. There's nothing else I can do. And that right there is what's going to keep you in that mindset, in that same environment. So an example of a positive mindset or a positive thinking is, if for example you lose your job, and after you lose it, you don't whine, you don't start worrying. You realize that there come an opportunity in your life for you to better where you were at. So think of it as you now have a chance to find a better job than you were at before, or do what you love to do every day and not worry about waking up early to go somewhere you don't want to be in the morning. Think of it like that instead, and you'll go far, man. You'll see, you'll start getting hit up by people that need you to work for them. You'll start getting, interviews, and you'll start getting, all this stuff. And this works. This, I'm not telling you this because I read it somewhere. I'm telling you about this because I just had a call from someone yesterday that wanted me to work for him, and uh, and I went through that whole phase where I got laid off. I didn't have a job, but I didn't start worrying about nothing. I didn't start saying, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to start doing all this? Instead, I focused my energy and my thoughts on, I saw it as a new beginning and as an even better step in my life when I got laid off. You know, I thought, whoa, now I could focus on what I love to do, which is make music and help people, and not have to worry about going and slaving away my time somewhere for $8, $9, $10 an hour, because you have to realize what you're worth too. If you think of yourself as a $20 an hour person, as a $10 an hour person, then that's what you're gonna be. You're gonna be working at a job. You might think of it as good. You're like, oh, I'm making $20 an hour. But if you think your time is worth $20 an hour, I'm sorry, but you're really, you're really short-handing yourself. You're really, you're not focused on what you could become and what you could be, because we're all worth more than any amount of money per hour. We're priceless, every one of us. But unfortunately, the way we were raised is you know, we were placed a price tag basically by trading our time for money. And when you realize how bad this is, you'll start to get what I mean. But no one human is worth any amount of money per hour, because we are all priceless. We could all do way more than 20, 30, 20 million and $1 billion an hour. We are all worth more than that. But it's just the conditioning that we go through that keeps us in that little box, in that little frame of thinking, which is, oh, I gotta go to work to pay my bills so I can get by, so I can make this week go by good without having struggle. And that's what we're all focused on. We're all focused on just getting by and just paying our bills and just, having our free time to our weekends, and that's the only time we get off. And then, grinding like a zombie throughout the whole week. I've been through that. I'm not telling you this, because I read it somewhere. I've been through it. So change your mind and you'll change your world.